So for this problem, we have to write an equivalent expression for 4x plus 6 by factoring out the greatest common factor. This word factoring is a very, very important word, and honestly, it's just a fancy math term for dividing. So if we're trying to factor something, or a factor is a number that can divide another number. So when we are factoring, we are just getting a number that divides. Getting a number that divides. And when it says the greatest common factor, that is just the, basically what it says is just the biggest number that can divide the desired numbers, or the wanted numbers. Let's make it a little bit neater, make it wanted numbers. Now here's what I mean. So when we're factoring out by using the greatest common factor, so factoring means that we're getting a number that divides. We're factoring out the greatest common factor, and the greatest common factor just the biggest number that can divide the wanted numbers. And what are the wanted numbers? Well, we are looking at this expression here, and we're going to find the greatest common factor for each of these terms. The best thing to do, I would highly recommend, is to, on the side, put a list for the factors first. Okay? And let's write out our expression 4x plus 6. I'm actually going to pick a different color. So 4x plus 6. And we have the expression 4x plus 6. Okay? And we're going to take this and break it up into its terms. So we're going to box everything. So the very first thing we should do is put everything into a box here. We've got 4x plus 6, and we have to know how to break this up into terms. So the first term here is positive 4x, and I'll drop a line after the 4x. And our second term is positive 6. So what's happening is we are trying to find the greatest common factor for 4x and 6. In other words, what's the biggest number that can divide 4, the coefficient of the first term, and 6, the constant and the second term in our expression. So let's list the factors for 4 and 6. And it's a very, very short list. Okay, so what numbers can divide 4 and 6? Well, the first number I think of that can divide every number is the number 1. 1 divides everything. The only other number I can think of is the number 2. 3 can't divide 4. 4 can divide 4 but not 6. 5 can't divide either 1, and 6 can't divide 4. So our factors are 1 and 2. And which of those is the greatest common factor? Well, that would just be 2. So we're going to use 2 to factor out from this expression here. And the setup I like to use is I like to put just a line here. I'm actually going to change colors too. All right, so let's put a little line here. Okay, and that is ugly. Let me try to make that straighter. So put a line here. That's a little bit better. And underneath that line, what I'm going to type are just 3 letters. The letters are GCF. GCF. All right. I'm also going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so the GCF is going to go here. And we've already determined that the greatest common factor for 4x and 6 is the value 2. So I'm going to write 2 here. Okay, so this is going to be 2. And then on top of this box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some parentheses. I'm going to divide each of these terms by this GCF2, and that will give me my new expression up top. And then we'll write the entire expression, the new expression, or rather the equivalent expression, down here. So we've got 4x plus 6. We're dividing each term by 2. It's kind of like distributing, but the opposite. Instead of multiplying, what we're doing is we're taking each term and dividing it by the GCF we found. So we've got 4x divided by 2 is going to be 2x, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. And actually, let me zoom in. I want to focus on just this part for now. Okay? All right. Drag this. All right. So we took this first term 4x, and we divided it by our GCF 2. And 4 divided by 2 gave us 2. So 4x divided by 2 is 2x, positive 2x, right? And then the second term we're going to divide is this term 6. We've got 6 divided by 2, or rather positive 6 divided by positive 2 will give us positive 3, okay? So when I go to write my new expression, I'm going to write the GCF first, followed by the rest of my factored expression, and it's going to look like this. So our final answer, zoom back out, so our final answer is going to be, move this around a little bit, okay. So our final answer is going to be written as the following. We're going to put our GCF first, change colors again. Let's put our GCF first, which is 2. But the equivalent expression is 2 parentheses 2x plus 3. And this is the factored form of the expression. And again, it's called the factored form because we pulled out the greatest common factor and we have it outside of the parentheses. We factored it out, so that's why it's called the factored form. And this expression, let's just put a box around it, this expression here is equivalent to our initial expression here.